practice exam. Let's see what you can get.
Beginning
Yo, but
the test.
this takes 2 hours and 10 minutes.
It's 60 questions. I'm gonna YOLO it. I'm gonna win. Watch.
Alright.
AWS provides a number of security-related managed services from the options below. Select which AWS service is related to protecting your infrastructure from which security issue. Oh. This is dumb. This is dumb. This is all dumb. This is probably this. Next.
What do you mean?
Your company has asked you to investigate. I don't know what I mean. The use of KMS for storing and managing keys in AWS. From the options listed below, what key management features are available? Generate, disable renewable keys, import keys, custom key store, import your own keys, disable, renewable. Generate keys, disable, delete keys, open as a private native. No. Import your own keys, disable and renewable keys, and migrate keys between default KMS key store and custom key store. Import your own keys, disable and renewable keys, and define key management roles in AIM. Well, I don't like a lot of these because this one doesn't have. No, generate keys, disable, delete keys, open as operate as a private native hardware security HSM. I don't like that none of these have anything to do with generating keys. Generate keys, disable, renewable keys, and import keys into a custom key store. I don't know about re-enabling and disabling, but I mean, I like this one. I like this one. I like both of these. Import your own keys, disable. I mean, this one's good too. What is the question? What key management features are listed in KMS? Oh, KMS key store and custom key store.
Probably like creating and then enabling and disabling. That's gotta be.
If I had to pick one of these, I like a lot of these answers. Oh my god.
I think the last one is the right answer. Because think about it.
I don't know about that being a native hardware security module. I don't know what that means. But these are stupid. Like, now that I'm thinking about the generate keys ones. Import your own keys, disable renewable keys, and define key management roles. Define key management roles? I don't know if that's in its... Your company is asking us to get... I think this would be good. I don't know if you can migrate keys between custom key stores and KMS key stores, but I mean, YOLO. That might have been the one right above it. A user of your website makes HP requests.
I think it's the last one. Can we check what the right answer is after this?
Yeah, later. A user of your website makes HP requests to access a static resource on your server. The request is automatically redirected to nearest CloudFront server. For some reason, the requested resource does not exist on CloudFront. Which of the following is true?
See, this is through experience.
No, it's not. This is give me a second. What is it? For some reason, which of the following is true? Well, if it doesn't exist, you're gonna get a 404 100%. CloudFront will create the origin server and then cache the resource on the edge location. A user of your website makes HP request to access static resource. Redirected. If it's redirected, it might be a different error. No. The request will be put on hold until the request will be sent to the nearest available edge location that contains the resource. For some reason, the request resource does not exist on the cloud. Which?
Yeah, that's the main part of the question.
I don't remember what. I don't know what CloudFront does. If CloudFront is like Cloudflare and it caches things, and if it doesn't have it, if CloudFront doesn't have it, it's gonna go.
It's a content.
It's gonna try to get it again. Yeah, it's gonna no.
CDN. CloudFront is a CDN.
Yeah, I know what it is. It's just I don't know how it behaves. You're not gonna get a 404.
Or like any other CDN.
Whoa. A request will be sent to the nearest available edge location that contains a resource. That's very possible that it's going to do this. But I'm also thinking that maybe it will just query the origin server and cache the resource again. Like if you're doing it.
So it's just served as a cache stuff, right?
It's either A, B, or D. That's all I know.
I mean, that's a lot of choices, though. That's like, 75% of the choices, A, B, or D.
If it doesn't exist, I think it will try to go out and cache it again. So this is my logic here, but these kind of make sense. Like it will put it on hold. Yeah. I don't know if it will go to the nearest available edge location that contains the resource. Like what if it's, yeah, let me go next. Your solutions architect, large digital media company, has decided that they want to operate with the Japanese region and they need a bucket called test bucket set up immediately for testing purposes. You log in the AWS console, try to create this bucket in the Japanese region. However, you're told that the bucket name already exists. What should you do to resolve this? You run a meme creation website that stores the original images in S3 and each meme's metadata on DynamoDB. You need to decide upon a low-cost storage for the memes themselves. If a meme object is unavailable or lost, Lambda function will automatically recreate it, but at a $10 licensing cost per creation. Which storage solution should you store memes?
In most cost-effective way. And this requires knowledge of the storage.
Yeah, you need a lot about this.
Solutions.
I forgot what IA. I think that might mean like intermittent access. RRS is redundant. Let's see, reduced storage or something like that. I don't know what that does. I don't know what this does. And Glacier is like where you're holding like stuff as backup, not memes. So it's either S3 or RRS, I think, but it might be IA, but I don't know. I'm just gonna say RRS because I don't know. A single M4 medium NAT instance inside of VPC supports a company of 100 people. This NAT instance allows individual EC2 instances and private sub. Oh my god, this music. Single M4 medium NAT instance inside of VPC supports a company of 100 people. The NAT instance allows individual EC2 instances and private subnets to communicate out to the internet without being directly accessible via the internet. As the company has grown over the last year, you're finding that the additional traffic through the NAT instance is causing serious performance degradation. What you gonna do? The additional traffic through the NAT instance is causing serious performance degradation. Increase the class size. Instead of using a NAT, use direct connect to route all traffic. Use elastic load balancer forward traffic through the ELB. The ELB will automatically scale on demand as traffic increases. Attach an internet gateway to your VPC.
Doesn't the ELB like
this won't change anything? This won't change anything. I know this won't change anything. The ELB sounds like a smart idea. This sounds like a very expensive idea, but it might be the right thing to do. And then this sounds like it won't do anything. So I'm just gonna. Thank you, Mike. I'm just gonna say use a load balancer.
Yep, that's what
I don't know if I'd increase the size, man.
It sounds like a.
I don't believe in increasing the size.
No, because why would you increase the size of the whole instance when you can use ELB?
Okay. You know what? I don't know if the ELB will just route it to. Will create. I don't know if elastic load. Yeah, ELB will create the right thing I need. More NATs. Basically more of these network interfaces on demand traffic, but right? this is important too. It has different tiers, so I'm just gonna do ELB one, man. You work for a toy company that has a busy online store. As you're approaching Christmas, you find that your store is getting more and more traffic. You ensure the web tier of your store is sometimes multiple times an hour, only to scale back after its peak. You need to keep auto scaling from scaling up and down so rapidly. Which of the following options do you do to achieve this? LOL. I mean, the scheduling time thing seems like the thing to do.
So it only scales the scheduled times.
I don't know if it was. I don't know if that's what they're struggling on though. Like on this question, I don't know if they're struggling on inbound and outbound. Whoa, give me a second. This NAT instance allows individual EC2 instances and private subnets to communicate out to the internet. Then why not just... I don't think that this will change. I don't think that this will... I don't think changing the instance type is going to change the kind of network
But EOB is incoming
interface that you
traffic.
have. Yeah, he's right. But then like
So he said about the, like in the questions asking about.
I don't know what would be causing all the problem going out or people going in. There's probably not a lot going in, I guess. I don't know. I never mess with internet gateway. I don't know. Might just leave it as this and just YOLO it because that's what I would have chose anyway if I didn't think twice. Otherwise, I would have probably picked one of these two. I would not increase the size because I don't know. I wouldn't think that that would do anything. I can explain why. You need to keep auto scaling for scaling up and down so rapidly. Well, I can probably there's cooldown timers and stuff, but I don't think this thing seems way too convoluted as a solution. Figure out how to terminate your newest instance first. No. No. Web tier of your store is behind an auto scaling group. Maybe it shouldn't even be auto scaling. Maybe you should just scale it to whatever you think it is. See what you're talking about. The magic, dude. Well, I'm gonna take the hit on it anyway. You have developed a new web application in US West 2 that requires 6 Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud. Oh my god. Running out of time, you have 3 availability zones available in the region. You need 100% fault tolerance. Any single availability zone is US West 2 becomes unavailable. Which of the following answers offer 2 quick solutions for this scenario? Okay. Alright. Solution 1, solution 1, solution 1, solution 1. I don't like reading these. 2A with 2 EC2 instances, 2B with 2, 2C with 2. Solution 2 is 2A with 6, 2B with 6, 2C with none. Okay. This one's just a headache. I don't even want to figure it out.
Yeah, but on an actual certification, you just gonna YOLO it? You're not gonna study this stuff?
100% fault tolerance. I thought they would talk about like some sort of routing things at this point. Well, they're just talking about instances. uh, I don't like the ones that say like one of them don't need an instance, like 0 instances. If I see another one that says no instances, I'm not even clicking. This one says none, this one says none. And this one says no, I'm just gonna go next. You are a solutions architect working for a biotech company who is pioneering research in immunotherapy. They have developed a new cancer treatment that may be able to cure up to 94% of cancers. Wow, that's cool. Wow, that's great. They store their research data on S3. However, an intern recently deleted some critical files accidentally. You've been asked to prevent this from happening in the future. Versioned backups. Enable S3 versioning on the bucket. Enable MFA delete on the bucket. Wow, that's some crazy shit. Use S3 infrequent access storage. No. Make sure the interns can only access. Okay. Create IAM button. I'm good. You've been tasked with building a new application with a stateless web tier for a company that produces. I'll read in a second. No. Why? You can still recover it from version. Like, it was an intern who did it. Like, I know. Like, okay, fine. Why would you do it for the intern? That's kind of dick, though. To prevent the delete, which of the following solutions can be used to prevent accidental data loss? So even though you delete it, it's still gonna be there. You can always bring it back. Like, I guess the bucket.
Well, the bucket helps you control who has access to the data, right?
They ask to prevent the delete, you store it permanently. I don't know. I think that this could help prevent, and this will definitely prevent it from happening, but it just causes problems because then the intern will never be able to delete anything. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't delete cancer.
You've been tasked with building a new application. Whoa, that fucked something up? You've been tasked with building a new application with a stateless web tier for a company that produces reusable rocket parts. Which of their services? Stateless web tier. Three of these answers have RDS in them, and I don't even use RDS. And I've never used whatever a storage gateway is. Stateless web tier for a company that produces. Which three services could you use? Whatever this is. This is for logging. I'm not doing that. RDS. I've only used Dynamo. So RDS is their relational database. I think they have another add-on to it then. So yeah. Okay then. It wouldn't make sense to have RDS and DynamoDB. Or maybe it would, I don't know. Fudge.
RDS, DynamoDB, and Elasticache, man.
I mean, maybe they want logs. I don't fucking know. It just says stateless.
Storage Gateway, CloudWatch, keep track of the state.
Mike Laurent on Twitter is telling me stateless means no data.
But so RDS, DynamoDB, and Elasticache just
Well,
make use just and simple.
Oh, I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna look up AWS storage gateway. Never seen it before in my life. That's weird. I mean, I guess that's like if you put something in front of your storage and say like, oh, you can use any of these. But the idea.
I think it's the last one. But that's just me.
I mean, it says. I mean, how do you define what's actual the storage is going to be? That's the thing that blows my mind. Oh, I can't believe I'm spending so much time on this. You've been tasked with building a new application with a stateless web tier for a company that produces reusable rocket boards. With which three services would you use? I mean, it has CloudWatch in it. Well, why not? Like, it just says CloudWatch. You're building an app. You want logs. Do you need
But CloudWatch does what? Like keep track of the state
CloudWatch? No, that's it's just logs. It aggregates
logs.
different
Okay.
logs. You can do triggers on it and stuff like that.
And then
Based on
DynamoDB.
DynamoDB is a NoSQL database.
So it maintains session state.
No, it just DynamoDB will just you can throw data in it. And RDS and DynamoDB to me don't make sense. Like one just means like, oh, you want to treat things in a traditional database model where like you have a table for users, a table for parts, a table for this. Web tier, I understand. First one, why? I don't know. I'm totally lost on this, so I'm just going to go next. By definition, a public subnet with a VPC is one that. A public subnet with a VPC is one that. Within a VPC, okay. At least one route in the routing table that uses no. Has at least one route in the routing table that routes via NAT, no. I don't know, but has a public subnet checkbox. Oh, it's hilarious. Never passing this exam at this rate. Does an internet gateway bring things in? Like, is it inbound? Does it allow inbound traffic? Or is it that at my company, the only reason we don't have internet gateways is because we have direct connect? We have other special gateways set up.
It just gives. It's just network nodes that connects the different networks.
I know.
But
No,
like,
I'm not getting confused.
So the first one's right.
Yeah, you're working in a media industry and you've created a web app where users will be able to upload photos they create on your website. Oh my gosh, I hate reading these things. The web application must be able to call S3 API in order to be able to function. Where should you store API credentials while maintaining the maximum level of security? I like this. Get the API credentials from EC2 instance user data or like something else, but never store credentials. Don't save the API credentials. Instead, create a role and I am assigned the role to EC2 instance when you first create it. Your company has decided to set up a new AWS account for test and dev purposes. They already use AWS for production, but would like a new account dedicated for test and dev. So as to not accidentally break the production env. You launched an exact replica of your production environment using a CloudFormation template that your company uses in production. However, CloudFormation fails. Use the same exact CloudFormation template in production, so the failure has something to do with your new AWS account. The CloudFormation template is trying to launch 60 new EC2 instances on a single availability zone. After some research, you discover the problem is there's a limit. I don't know anything about this limit. Your CloudFormation template is configured to use parent account and not a new account. Okay, there's a soft limit. There's a soft limit. You cannot launch more than 20 instances in your default VPC. Instead, reconfigure the CloudFormation template to provision the instance in a custom VPC. That doesn't matter. Okay. Is it per availability zone or is it per region? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it would be per region or per availability zone. But I'm going to say per region. Next. You are a system administrator and you need to monitor the health of your production environment. You need to blah 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 blah. You use CloudWatch. When monitoring the health of your EC2, for which of the following metrics do you need to design a custom? What? Disk read then, I guess. CloudWatch metrics. I don't know what comes by default. Which of the following features only relate to spread placement groups? I have no clue what a placement group is. A placement group? When you launch a new EC2 instance, the EC2 service attempts to place the instance in such a way that all the instances are spread out nicely. A spread placement group is a group of instances that are each placed on distinct racks, with each rack have its own network and power source. There's 7 instances on a single availability zone that are placed in the spread placement group. The 7 instances, whoa. Yeah, I know, right? People end up digging themselves into specific configurations. But AWS is always releasing new shit. So, or bringing in functionality that previously wasn't there, even as of like last December. The name you specify for a replacement group must be unique on your account. That was my intuition. Which of the following AWS services allow native encryption of data while at rest? Oh, you can choose all. You can choose multiple. Ooh. What? I would just guess all these. I'm picking S3. I don't care. Choose a feature of consolidated billing. I don't know anything about this. Single bill is issued containing the charges for all. Yeah. Yeah, I don't care. Which of the following Amazon S3 storage classes offers 9 nines? 11 nines. Ooh. Where are we at? Standard and frequent. Standard and frequent. I don't know what infrequent access is, but probably 11 ninths. Damn. One zone doesn't sound right. And Glacier. Glacier is something good. Redundancy doesn't sound good. I'm just gonna pick this. Yeah, I'm just gonna pick this. Which of the following RDS database engines have a limit? You can pick different RDS database engines. There's a limited amount of databases that can be run per instance. Probably Oracle. I mean, if I had to guess, RDS database engines have and I don't think Aurora is. I thought Aurora was a separate product. It's probably Aurora because it's like one managed thing. Which of the following RDS database engines have a limited amount of databases?
Why not SQL?
Well, these guys are like, this is like Microsoft. This is like free. This is like Oracle. And so these are all like,
yeah.
I think, I don't know. This is a tricky question. It could be all these three, or it could be just this one. Because I know that Amazon Aurora is an RDS, but I think that it comes with more than just that. So I think it's trying to set up everything for you, like extra stuff. So I'm just gonna go with this. Which of the following are not valid CloudFormation template sections?
SQL. Demion in question 20.
I don't know if outputs are a thing. You have 3 accounts ABC with your data and attempt to maximize performance. You have deploy the instance owned by these 3 accounts and 1B. During testing, you find inconsistent results and transfer latency between instances. Transfer between A and B is excellent. B and C and A are slower. What could be the problem? Well, definitely C is fucked. The names of the AZs are randomly applied, so 1B is not certain. Okay. You're incorrect. Okay. I like this one. Account C has been allocated to older section of the data hall with slower networking. Yeah, this has got to be it. What is the maximum response time for a business level production down support case? All I know is the regular support. Regular, dude. I got a guy respond to one of my support tickets like past the 24-hour SLA that they had for our support shit. And we paid like the biggest one, like 30K a month for that shit. I don't know, dude. They probably have.
Took 30 hours.
I bet you it's like I bet you it's really good for production down. I bet you it's like an hour. I hope.
Probably 1 hour. Probably 1 hour.
Yeah, it's probably 1 hour with something production. Options is not valid. Go back. Output is valid. Output's valid. Outputs are valid? Go back. Options is not valid. Which of the following is not valid? I mean, I've worked with other things other than CloudFormation. Outputs are def valid. Yeah, it's not asking. It's just asking which ones are not valid. I know parameters, resources, and outputs. So I'm just going to say options. Parameter, resources, and outputs. And condition. Parameters, resources, out. Yeah, we're good. We're goody, man. I don't know. It says for business level. I don't know what business level is. I didn't know the tiers.
Just say
I guess enterprise is higher tier than business level, so it probably is a day. No, because he just told me in chat that there's he said that and business wouldn't be the same. Enterprise is 1 hour and business wouldn't be the same. I didn't know that. Their SLAs. So maybe it's 12 hours. Let's just do 12 hours YOLO. What are the
production down? So that means that the system.
It's 12 hours.
12 hours. All right.
No, they're saying production systems down. General guidance. I'm not gonna. I don't know. I just put down 12. I'm gonna leave that. It says business is 1. Fucking shit. All right. Yeah, what are the 4 levels of AWS Premium support? Apparently, it's going to be basic, startup, business, and enterprise. That's my guess. Next, it's probably developer, basic, developer, business, and enterprise. Yeah,
why would it be called startup?
I don't know, man. Route 53 and AWS implementation. Blah, 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 supports a number of routing policies. Which of the following are valid types? I wonder what's going to happen when like the DNS over HTTPS is going to happen. Which of the following are valid policy types? Jesus Christ. What?
It's a lot of choices. Select 5.
I never use any of these, man. I'm gonna click default. I'm gonna click.
But you gotta know which are the valid ones, and it's not about using them, right? Yeah, default.
I made one I made Route 53 shit in the last week. I'm surprised I don't know those.
Yeah, do the geo one then.
I mean, geolocation routing. I don't know, man. Latency. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna go next. Fuck it. Which of the following are valid Route 53 routing policies? It's gonna ask me the same question again. Policy types. and then routing policies.
Select 3.
Boom. Which of the following strategies does AWS use to deliver the promised levels of DynamoDB performance? I should know this. Deploys read replicas of databases to balance the load. Okay. Database is partitioned across a number of nodes. Probably. DynamoDB instances can be configured with EBS. I don't know anything about that. It was deploy caching instances in front of the DynamoDB cluster. No, they don't do that. I think it's these three, even though I'm selecting 2. It does not have replicas. I know it maintains like backups in metadata. If I can only pick 2, I would definitely pick this. I would definitely pick this. Your company has hired a young and enthusiastic accountant. Let me guess he fucks up. After reviewing the AWS documentation and usage graphs, he announces that you're wasting vast amounts of money running your fleet of Windows web servers for a full hour instead of spinning them up only when they're needed and down again, as they're idle for 1 minute. As soon as they go idle in 1 minute, he cites the AWS claim that you only pay for what you use, and that as a senior engineer, you should be more conscious of wasting company money. How do you respond? I know about this.
The first answer is correct.
I like it. Yeah, this is it. Definitely. You're acknowledge the problem posed that you could downsize instances workload over hour to consume the full instance capacity for the full hour. You might also propose closer monitoring automation. I don't believe in this one. You thank him for his concern, advise him that he has misinterpreted. It's always this. These instances are billed by the full hour. Additionally, storage charges are incurred even if the DB instance sits idle. Taking into account productivity losses, stopping or restarting DB instances may actually result in additional costs. There we go. That's my answer.
Yeah, you're a senior. Your solution's fine.
I'm a senior. I win. Not full power anymore. Yeah, you got per second or per request or whatever. You've been monitoring a sensitive auto-scaling group. You expect it to scale in as you enter a period of holiday downtime. Okay, the auto-scaling group is distributed over 3 AZs. I don't care. All instances have different CPU and memory utilization. All instances have been running for a different number of days. All instances come from different versions of root AMI, and all instances have different numbers of sessions connected. Which instances will be the first to shut down? Oh, Jesus.
All of them.
I think it's the instance running the longest will terminate first, but I don't know. I gotta read this again. Availability zone A and B have 2 instances, and C has 3. So C's running the longest will terminate first. C, oldest launch configuration, least number of sessions. I think it might be this or this. I don't know about launch config. Social DJ Khaled, get the fuck out of here. Oldest launch config, I would say it's just the AZC. Next. Your solutions are working for a construction company. Your company is migrating their production estate to AWS. You are in the process of setting up access to AWS console using IAM. You have created 15 users for your system admins. What further steps do you need to take to enable your sysadmins get access to AWS console in a secure fashion? Probably multi-factor or something. Generate password for each user and give each password. Have each user set MFA. Gives a secret X key and tell them to use these crystals. No. Oh, there's multiple steps. Select two. You have created 15 users for that are sysadmins. What further steps do you need to take to enable your system admins to access the AWS console? All right. The customer experience manager comes to see you and about some odd behaviors with the ticketing system. Messages presented to the support team are not arriving in order in which they were generated. You know that is due to the way the underlying SQS. Jesus Christ. Being used to manage messages. Which of the following are correct explanations? Don't use SQS. Gets busy. Some of the hosts will automatically swap from first in, first out to last in, first out to provide better work. What? No. I didn't think that's even a feature. The support staff are probably using provided admin tools to amend the priority. They probably aren't. SQS uses multiple hosts, and each host holds only a portion of all the messages. When a staff member calls for the next message, the consumer process does not see all the hosts or all the messages. Such messages are not necessarily delivered in the order at which they were generated. If an agent abandons a message or takes a break, be offered in queue again in order to ensure that no message is lost. The message will persist until it's processed. That could be it. I don't know about prioritization. In order to ensure no message is lost, message will persist in SS queue until, I mean, before finishing with a message. Do you have to like explicitly say you're done receiving the shit on the queue for it to get off the queue? Using multiple hosts, each host holds only a portion of all the messages. When a staff member calls for the next message, the consumer process does not see all the hosts or all the messages. I did not think these were issues with SQS. I thought it maintained order and all that. And I don't know the difference with that in Kinesis anymore, so what is the maximum visibility timeout of an SQS message in an FIFO? I don't know. Let's just say it's 14 days. Your company likes the idea of storing files on AWS. However, low latency service of a majority of files is important. Which storage gateway configuration would you use to achieve both of these? I don't know what VTL is. Cached. TL, VTL? What the hell is VTL? I mean, I can just yellow it and click VTL. Why not? Volatile? Volatile? Maybe?
Virtual tape backup.
Is that what VTL is?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Low latency, though.
Wait, let me see if that's what it is.
I don't know. I just don't know. Fuck it. Your server logs are full.
Virtual tape laminator, yeah.
Your server logs are full of what appear to be application layer attacks, so you deploy AWS Web Application Firewall. Which of the following conditions may you set to configure WAF? Probably a lot of shit. A lot of attacks. Conditions. Conditions. IP match. Because they're usually coming from the same like botnet or range. And like if you get the same amount within a certain, yeah, whatever. Oh, you can do more? Select 3? Boom. You have been engaged as a consultant by a company that generates utility bills and publishes them online. String IP and URL. String match? Doesn't sound good. I mean, I'm just gonna do these 3. You have been engaged as a consultant by a company that generates utility bills and publishes them online. Wow, PDFs are generated and stored on a high-performance RDS instance. Customarily, invoices are viewed by customers once per month. Wow, recently the number of customers has increased 3-fold. Wow, and the wait time necessary to view invoices increased. Unacceptably, the CTO is unwilling to alter the code base more than necessary this quarter, but needs to return performance to an acceptable level before the end of the month print run. Which of the following solutions would you feel comfortable proposing to the CTO and the general manager? What? It creates PDFs. PDF images are generated, then stored on RDS. Invoices are viewed. I guess generates bills, publishes them online. Okay, whatever. Too much info. They generate something, but it's too slow to access in RDS. Move the metadata to DynamoDB solution, preventing real-time scaling. Create RDS read replicas and additional web app instances across all availability zones. Evaluate the risk and benefits of an instance upgrade. Move the images to S3 to reduce database I/O. I don't know what they mean by PDF images, like an image of the invoice. Use CloudFront. Install Elasticache. They're only seen once. Why the fuck would you? I'm so confused. You have been engaged by a consultant by a company that generates utility bills and publishes them online. Wow. We generate bills. We publish them. Wow. Those are the invoices. PDF images are generated and stored on high performance RDS instances. Customarily, invoices are viewed by customers once per month. Recently, the number of customers, blah, 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 blah. I don't like this caching thing. Select 2. Evaluate risk and benefits of RDS upgrade. Move the metadata to DynamoDB solution, permitting real-time scaling. No. S3, man. Read replicas increase read speed for databases. Your Elasticache is memcache for the database. You gotta cache the database queries. But no, they're only querying it like one time. It says that the number of wait, let me see. The number of customers has increased 3-fold. So they're like, for whatever reason, that partition that it's on is hot. I guess a replica would help in this sense. I guess a replica would actually help. But they technically only want one thing, but what if it's stored on the same partition? So that's someone else's invoice, yeah. Move images. I'm just gonna do that. I like those two. When it comes to security groups within a custom VPC, which of the following statements are correct? I don't think there's state. What do you mean by state? There's no state. Updates to security are applied immediately. I don't know about that within an hour thing. That sounds stupid. Which of the following are valid S3 data encryption options? Select 4. 4? Okay. Which of the following are valid S3 data encryption options? I don't know what SSEC is. A client library such as Amazon S3 encryption client. What? Okay.
SSD server-side encryption.
I like how this just says you can choose fucking 4.
Oh, you don't know what
That's
a
just
C is.
to me. I just like pick all of them except OpenSSL because that's just like a standalone tool. Ugh. When editing permissions, policies, and ACLs, to whom does the concept of owner refer? The owner of a resource? The owner is the IAM user who created the object. The owner's IAM role. Let me think about this. When editing permissions and ACLs. Whom does the concept of owner refer? I mean, it could mean like the account owner completely. I don't think it has to do with the roles. It might be the user or the account owner. There is no owner. There is no owner, says Mike Laurent. I write policies all the time. I never see anything.
There's no special concepts of owners.
I don't know. If I was to go inside of IAM and start looking up policies, I don't know if a policy says like created by or something like that, or it says owner. That's what's tripping me out. But my boy Laurent here says there is no owners. Huh. This one's tricky for me. Because I don't know what I would answer if I was sitting down.
The user who created the object sounds good to me.
No,
like,
no. Because sometimes you don't. It's not a. It's not.
it's not the user that created it who's the owner.
The user is really different from a role. Like, you can make users. Get rid of them.
Yeah. But isn't owner like... It's a permission, right? What is... Yeah. Just say there's no special concept of owner, Mario.
No, I don't want to do that yet. On our first identity and email address used to create an AWS account. I'm gonna say it's this.
It's either a 1 or a 3.
I'm picking the last one just because I want to. Okay. Your company has a policy of encrypting all data at rest. You host your production on EC2 and a bespoke VPC attached to your EC2 instance. There are multiple EBS volumes. You must ensure this data is encrypted. Which of the following options will I do this? Encrypt data inside your application before storing EBS. I don't know if EBS provides any like button to just say, hey, encrypt my shit. Oh, I don't need to do anything? Encrypt the data using native encryption tools? No. Maybe they're just by default encrypted. Elastic block storage. Encrypt the data inside your application before storing it. I can pick 3. I can pick 3. If I can pick 3, then that might mean that this is not something. Encrypt the data using native encryption tools available on the operating system, such as Windows BitLocker. Oof. Install SSL certs on your server so as to encrypt your data. Did it get used to encrypt the data with the self-cert? Like, what? Doesn't make any sense. Use third-party volume encryption tools and this. If it's not enabled by default, doesn't make any sense. EBS does not
No,
have a button
but
2M.
it
EBS
encrypts
on 1,
EBS
2, and
volumes
5.
on
1,
launch.
2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just gonna pick with these. This is what I would pick if I was taking an exam and I realized I had to pick 3, and this was not like I don't have any experience with EBS. Your company provides an online image recognition service and uses SQS to decouple system components. Your EC2 instances pull the image queue as often as possible to keep end-to-end throughput as high as possible, but you realize that all of this polling is resulting in both a large number of CPU cycles and skyrocketing costs. How can you reduce the cost? Oh my god, I remember this shit on a previous exam. Enable long polling by setting, you just don't want to keep it asking over and over. Receive message wait time seconds, receive message wait time minutes. I would just think it's this.
It's either long, short, or minutes or seconds.
It's long seconds or long minutes. I'm thinking it's seconds. UR Solutions Arc, working on a busy media company that with offices in Japan and the United States. Your production environment is hosted both in US East 1 and AP Northeast 1. Your European users have been connecting to the production environment in Japan and are seeing the site in Japanese. Right, I've seen this before too. I've seen this question before. You need to ensure that they view an English language version, which they're what? I guess geolocation routing isn't a real thing. So you go like geoproximity and latency. No, because latency is the actual thing that's causing the issue. Maybe something called weighted routing. I don't know, man. I don't know. Mike Laurent. Yeah, I don't think latency would be right, because if they're low latency, then they're gonna get routed. They're probably going to the Japanese site because it's lower latency. I mean, it sounds stupid, but I picked this and this because I don't know what simple routing or weighted routing would do in this case. I'm a solutions architect again, working for a large antivirus company, and your job is to 3 and 5 is okay, I agree with you. Your job, you're secure your company's production AWS environment. Wow, that's cool. The new policy dictates that your particular public-facing subnet needs to allow. Okay. I don't know what network ACL layer is. A NACL. You create an inbound rule allowing traffic to port blah 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 on the ACL level. However, users complain they can't connect. Which of the following answers may represent the root cause? Updates network. Probably this.
You mean access control list?
You probably need this. Because it says you create an inbound rule. Probably need the outbound rule on there. You work for a popular media outlet about to release a story that is expected to go viral. Yeah, you need both directions. During load testing on the website, you discover there's a read contention on the database tier of your application. Your RDS instance consists of MySQL database on a extra large instance. Which of the following approaches would be best to further scale this instance to meet the anticipated increase in your traffic to your viral store that your viral story will generate? Read contention. Oh, I definitely want to cache. Select 3. Shard it. I don't know if sharding is the same in a relational database as it is in a non-relational database. And for me, when you shard something, Mike Laurent, Okay, that's good to know. There's no sharding, but for me, sharding is when you take something, like let's say you have some partition key or public key, whatever, private, whatever you want to call it, not public key, partition key, that's just like games. It's called games, and you store games in it. Well, if you have a shit ton of shit in there, that partition is gonna get hot. So reading would suck. Writing, I don't know if that would suck. But then to shard it, I'm thinking of this scatter thing where you take the games and you create, like, let's say like an n number of partitions of it, like games 1, games 2, games 3, and then you do like 3 reads, games 1, 2, and 3, and then you aggregate the results and then you present that to the user. I don't know if that's that scatter getter shit or if that's what sharding is. I don't know what sharding is. Provide a larger instance size with provision IOPS. In out. Add RDS multi-Z for increased read. This guy says 1, 3, and 5. Provide a larger instance size. Sure, why not? It's too late. I already got the answer. You have provisioned a custom VPC in a subnet that has a CIDR block of some local shit, address range inside of a subnet. You have 2 web servers, 2 app servers, 2 database servers, and a net. You have configured an auto-scaling group on the 2 web servers to automatically scale when the CPU utilization is over 90. Several days later, you notice that the auto-scaling is no longer deploying new instances into the subnet. I don't know how much this is. Despite the CPU utilization of all web servers being at 100, which of the following answers may offer explanation? What? I don't think that's how it works. AWS reserves both the first 4 and the last IP address in each subnet CIDR block. AWS reserves both the first 3 and last 2. The first 2 and last 2. I don't know how much is that 28. Like, I need a representation of this right now. Oh fuck. 28 CIDR. CIDR. $16 addresses. So you only get 4. So you only max out. Okay. Okay. That's good to know, man. I didn't know this shit. So you basically reserve 1003 from like 0 to 14 or 0 to 13, and you already lose one, so you only got like 13 all in all. And if you have 6 minus 13 minus 6, and what happens
Really?
when I don't know, I'm just trying to see, like, so every time you create a CIDR block in a subnet, AWS says give me some. The first 4 in the last IP in each subnet side or block are not available for you to use and cannot be assigned for an instance. For example, in a subnet with 24, the following 5 are reserved: 0, 1. You get a network address, duh, then you got a VPC router, and then you get the DNS server. Let me just find it. So I don't know what it reserves, but yeah. Your auto-scaling group has provisioned too many EC2s and exhaust the number of internal. Okay, yeah. These sounds great. But I'm interested now. Let me copy and paste this and figure out what it is though. Reserved. The VPC router. The DNS server. The IP address of the DNS server is always the base of the VPC network plus 2. And then you get 3 taken for future use. And then the last one is a broadcast address. We do not support broadcast in a VPC, therefore we reserve this address. This is a little confusing now. 24 is completely different then. 28 is fucking Nazi level. I need to get some kind of like visual representation of all this, like a little like infographic or an animated thing to understand how these CIDR blocks work. I've looked it up many times and it just doesn't click yet. Which of the following database technologies are supported by RDS? Aurora, Oracle, MariaDB, probably. I forgot what DB2 is. So MariaDB might not be Aurora is not even a fucking database technology. I thought it was a product. So it's MariaDB, Oracle, and DB2. Aurora to me is not a database technology. It's just a solution. Then DB2 sounds like an ancient ass like relational database. So I'm gonna just say these 3. 1, 3, and 5.
Isn't Aurora Amazon's own?
Yeah. You are leading a design team
But
to
isn't that?
No, it's not a technology. It's a fucking service solution or some shit like that. AWS service. You are leading a design team to implement an urgently needed collection of analysis project. You will be collecting data for an array of 50K anonymous data collectors. Aurora is a database engine. DB2 is not. What is DB2 then? I've heard of DB2 like from old school shit. Is DB2 just a protocol to talk to a database? IBM's fucking.
It's IBM's architecture.
Oh, yeah. So does that mean that IBM does not want to work with AWS? RDS, why no DB2? So what is DB2 then? Product. It's a analyze and retrieve data efficiently. What the fuck is this? Oh, so it's more than just a database? Now that I remember, like Ricky at work, he says that I have to go into to talk to DB2, and there's some sort of like special console he has to talk to, special like tools he has to use just to talk and format his queries. I don't know. I would have picked DB2. I still don't think Aurora is a thing, but let's see this again. What the fuck are you doing, Amazon? It is its own thing. Good to know. You are leading a design team to implement an urgently needed collection analysis project. You will be collecting data for an array of 50K anonymous data collectors, which will be summarized each day and then rarely used again. The data will be pulled from collectors approximately once an hour. The dev responsible for the DynamoDB design is concerned about how to design the partition local keys to ensure efficient use of the tables. Yeah, man, don't worry about it. Use a date-based partition key, especially with DynamoDB. Don't worry about it. Houlihan, right hand man. Dates still cluster. You will be collecting data summarized each day, then rarely used again. Once an hour. Once an hour. For the day? For each day? Create a new table each day and configure the old table for frequent use. If that is even a way of doing it, use a time-based partition key so it's easy to query and analyze. Well, yeah, you can put the date on it, onto it, and it'll be easier to query. No. What happens if the partition if the table gets real huge? Like, what happens when the tables get really, really big? Like, does it even matter? Like, if you do a query by query item gives you one thing. You need to make an index for date. Partition key to avoid having hop from partition to partition. You just want everything in one query. When they say partition and local key, do they mean like the partition and the sort key? Is that what they're talking about? They get into a whole lot of freaking ideology when it comes into no SQL, one table data design. They're trying to talk about how like you gotta like write everything for your data access patterns. And if our access pattern is that we're pulling stuff once an hour for that day, and then maybe for the next day you never pull data ever again, I don't know what happens when the table gets really big. I mean, a date one would be nice. The hour doesn't matter. It's, oh, you gotta summarize it each day. So you pull, okay. You are leading a design team to implement an urgently needed collection and analysis project. You will be collecting data for an array of 50K anonymous data collectors, which will be summarized each day and then rarely used again. So you're constantly collecting data. And you're pulling it once every hour, and then at the end of the day, you're summarizing that data. I don't like the hashes. I don't like this, and I don't like this. The answers are these. Next. You have been asked by your employer to create an identical copy of your production environment in another region for disaster recovery purposes, and a list below which AWS resources would you not need to recreate because they're available universally across what? Regions? I've never switched from like Ohio to Virginia or Virginia to something else. I know roles probably. Roles are high level. Maybe security groups. And only two. Okay, next. Yeah, it has to be roles and security groups. I don't know about Route 53. Maybe let's just do this. Fuck it. If you don't use one of the AWS SDKs, you can perform .node operations over HP using a post request method. The post method requires you to specify operation in the header of the request and provide the data for the operation in JSON format in the body of your request. Which of the following are valid DynamoDB header attributes? Um, target. I get to pick 4. Oh man. Well, if it's already assumed that it's gonna be JSON. I mean, this sounds right here. How is the public IP address managed in an instance session via instance GUI? What the fuck? How is the public IP address managed in an instance session? Oh, it's like some metadata thing. Local? The public IP is not managed on the instance. It is instead an alias applied as a network address translation of a what? 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 I think it's in one of these. I guess it's in public IPv4. Security groups is an EC2. It's not under VPC. Yeah, security group is under VPC. And VPC can be made by region. I'm switching this. I'm saying it's this. A client is concerned that someone other than approved administrators is trying to gain access to the Linux web app instances in their VPC. She asked what sort of network access logging can be added. Which of the following might you recommend? Where's CloudTrail? Fuck. The client is concerned that someone other than approved administrators is trying to access Linux web app instance in their VPC. She asked what sort of network access logging can be added. Which of the following might you recommend? 2. Set up traffic logging rule in your VPC firewall appliance and direct the log to. Sure, why not? Set up a flow log. That sounds stupid. I don't know what that even means. Make use of OS level logging tools. OS level logging tools such as IP tables. Use event log filters to trigger event logs. CloudWatch events. Event log filters to trigger alerts that are forwarded to CloudWatch. Event log filters? From what? VPC events? Like what was it? Set up a log for a group of instances and forward them. I don't know. IP address is always private with an alias since you bolt on the EIP. The flow log to S3. Set up a flow log for the group of instances and forward them to CloudWatch or forward them to S3. I don't know what a flow log is, but thanks. I'm gonna assume that this is still a valid option. Network level logging. Flow log only goes S3, not CloudWatch. You are a consultant planning to deploy DynamoDB across 3 AZs. Okay, cool. That's a cool story. Your lead DBA is concerned about data consistency. Which of the following do you advise the lead DBA to do? Task the development team to implement and check some algorithm to confirm that the data is consistent. No, thank you. Ask the development team to code strongly consistent reads, as it will impact the read times slightly, but not the budget. Ask the development. Oh, you can only pick one. Ask the development team to code Lambda function. No. Ask the development team to code maintenance tasks. Ask the development team to code for strongly consistent reads. As a consultant, you'll advise the CTO to increase costs. Ask the development team to code to check for successful completion at the completion of every write. Why would you make them check data consistency after every write? That doesn't make any. Ask them to code maintenance tasks to run us. No. I like this one too. I'm a consultant. You do not take notes for study sessions? Do you not? Yeah, but I think this is the case that like maybe something is not laid out in time. Let's say you write something and then um, it didn't make it to the through the other availability zone yet. I think that's the case here. So I think that the idea for coding for strongly consistent read would mean like you pull for it twice, or you pull for it, or read it like somehow across another availability zone, which I don't think that's possible. You could.
Hey.
What?
Strongly consistent.
I think it's the strongly
Secondary.
consistent. Okay.
Not supported on global secondary index. So.
Yeah, I know about that. I remember there's a lot of limitations.
You're deploying across 3 AZs. Does that have
That's the big deal. And this isn't saying anything about having a global index, a global secondary index. I'm just gonna say it's this. I don't got time. I got 48 minutes and 12 more questions. With SAML enabled single sign-on. Oh wow. The client browser immediately directly to the console. The portal first verifies users in the organization that generates SAML authentication response. The portal acknowledges SAML authentication response to verify users. Oh my god, this sucks. This portal acknowledges SAML authentication response and verifies. Okay, after the client browser posts the SAML assertion, AWS sends the sign-in URL as a redirect, and the client browser is redirected to the console. I mean, I'm just guessing that right now, but the client browser is immediately directed to the console. Not always, because if you're enabling SAML, you might be using a different provider, like LDAP or Azure. The portal first verifies the user's identity in your organization, which I think is nice because it'll you check against a provider, then generates a SAML authentication response. After the client browser posts a SAML assertion, the AWS sends a sign-in URL as a redirect. I'm just gonna guess these two. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
It could be 2 and 3. Then verifies. Yeah, you sent. Nah, fuck it. It's this. You successfully configure VPC peering between A and B. You then establish IGW and a direct connect connection to VPC-B. Oh my god, I remember this question, but I don't remember the answer. A and B are basically connected. Then you establish IGW and a direct connect connection in B. Okay. Can A connect to your corporate office? Can instances of VPC-A connect to your corporate office via direct connect service and connect to the internet via? I don't think so. I'm not sure. I remember there's some limitation on the peering and gateways. Well, wow, I understand that, but it does not support edge-to-edge routing. Probably the answer. Instances will be able to access internet, but not the corporate office. Instances of VPC-A will be able to access corporate office, but not the internet. Maybe it's. Oh my god, I don't remember. Let's see this. It's the transient routing. Peering does not support that. Like saying, hey, I want to hit fucking my corporate box from VPC-A. So it only supports things that are on the VPC. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. You are a solutions architect with a manufacturing company running several legacy applications. One of these apps needs to communicate with services which are currently hosted on premise. We got several legacy apps. We need to talk to those bitches. The people who wrote these applications left the company. Oh no, and there's no docs describing how the application works. You need to ensure the application can be hosted in a bespoke VPC, but remains able to communicate back-end services hosted on premise. So host the front end, but have the back end on the premise. Which of the following answers will allow the application to communicate back to the on-premise equipment without the need to reprogram the application? You should configure the VPC subnet in which the application sits so that it does not have an IP address range that conflicts with the one on-premise. That sounds right. You should ensure the VPC has internet gateway attached to it. That way you can establish site-to-site VPN. No, I don't think that's right. You should attach elastic IP to the VPC so that it's able to communicate. I don't think that's right either. You should configure your ELB to act as a reverse proxy so that EC2 instance can communicate back to the what? You should configure AWS Direct Connect link between the VPC and site with the on-premise solution. Oh, well, you should configure an AWS Direct Connect link between the VPC and the site with the on-premise. Probably that.
I mean, 145 or 135.
The thing is, if you can't afford a direct connect link, you might have to use internet. You might have to use internet gateway. So I think it's 1, 3, and 5. I think it is because some people can't afford direct connect. Like you have to use internet
1,
gateway.
2, and 5,
yeah, so I think it's 1, 2, and 5.
right.
And this, I don't know. These might sound absurd. You should attach elastic IP to the VPC. Sometimes Elastic IPs are like public or something by default in nature. I'm not sure. I don't fucking remember. So it will communicate with the ons. I don't know what the fuck that is. You should configure Elastic Load Balancer act as a reverse proxy. That sounds weird. I'm just gonna go 1, 3, 1, 2, and 5. You work for a genomics company developing a cure for motor neuron disease by using advanced gene therapies. Wow. As a part of their research, they take extremely large data sets, terabytes, and analyze these data sets using EMR. In order to keep costs low, they run analysis only a few hours. Early hours of the morning using spot instances for task nodes. I don't know what task nodes are. I don't know how to translate EMR to like a Hadoop thing, because I know Hadoop, I know Spark, but I don't know, I'm not familiar with using EMR. I almost did. The core nodes are on-demand instances. Lately, however, the EMR jobs have been failing. This is due to spot instances being terminated. Which of the following remedies would, like, tasks would be like maybe like every, I don't know, fuck it. I was gonna say like every few pieces of the job goes and does like some aggregate shit. This is due to sponsors being unexpectedly terminated. Which of the following remedies would both keep costs manageable and mitigate the issues caused by terminated spot instances?
4 makes sense to me.
Increase the bid price for the task nodes so that they have greater threshold before the task nodes are terminated. If tasks are like jobs, no, it says, because they're using the word jobs. They're using the word jobs right up here. Lately, however, the EMR jobs have been failing. So you create an EMR job, like a Spark job, you run it.
And they're being
A task node is probably like an execution node in the sense of Spark. EMR task node, Spark execution node. Are optional. You use them to add power to perform parallel computation tasks on data such as Hadoop, MapReduce tasks, and Spark executors. Task nodes don't run the data node daemon, nor they just store data on it. Blah blah blah. Huh. He says 3 and 4. Because spot instances are often used to run task nodes, Amazon EMR has default functionality for scheduling yarn jobs so that running jobs don't fail when task nodes running on spot instances are terminated. Amazon EMR does this by allowing application master process to run only on core nodes.
2 paragraphs down, Amazon EMR has settings to prevent job failure because of task node spot instance termination. You see it?
Yeah, dude. I don't know enough about this. Like, I thought I knew stuff about Spark and Hadoop, but I guess I don't. I don't know exactly how it like orchestrates all the work.
3, 4 next, man. You're almost done.
I don't understand what it means. Increase the bid price for the core nodes. Like, I don't know what that means. Core nodes are managed by the master node. Core nodes run the data node daemon to coordinate data storage as part of the HDFS. They also run the task tracker daemon and perform other parallel computation tasks on data. For example, a core node runs yarn node manager daemons, Hadoop MapReduce tasks, and Spark executors. So core nodes are what you use to run node manager daemons, MapReduce tasks, and Spark executors. Task nodes are what you use to run what? Add power to perform parallel computation tasks on data. So if your Spark job is now requiring you to process something faster that you don't have enough, like, has a lot of records that it's trying to do, I guess it Spins up a task node? I don't know. Oh boy.
So by having higher competing bids,
I don't know what these bids are. I don't see anything about bids on this page.
you have
I don't
longer
see.
workloads, and then you have less frequent spot instances.
I got change. I can change. Whoa. Which of the following remedies keep costs manageable and mitigate issues caused by terminated spot instances? Change the core nodes to spot instances and lower the spot price.
Change the core nodes to spot instances.
Whoa. That's weird. Change the task nodes to on-demand instances. This would definitely not lower the price. This would probably work, but it would probably not lower the price. Does that even work like that? Wouldn't it take longer to complete any kind of computation? Keep costs manageable and mitigate issues caused by okay.
Anything, damn. But that doesn't keep the cost manageable.
Increasing the bid price for core nodes. I need to fucking read about bid price Hadoop. Oh Lord, kill me. To use spot instances, you specify the maximum price you're willing to pay per instance hour. If your maximum bid price exceeds the current spot price, your request is fulfilled. If your maximum price bid exceeds the spot, you get the instance until you choose to terminate them, or the spot price increases above your maximum price.
So by increasing the bid,
increase the bid
you
for the
reduce
core
interruptions, and then the tasks don't fail.
But then how does increasing the bid price for core nodes do anything? Like for the spots, change the core nodes to spot instances and lower the spot price. I don't know if that's even like a valid solution. Increase the bid price for the task nodes. Yes, so that you have a greater threshold. I agree with that, but then like I don't know, maybe changing them into spot instances, that might be expensive. I don't know. Change task nodes to on-demand instances. On-demand. Amazon EC2 prices above are for on-demand instances. On-demand instances are the most expensive but give you most flexibility. EC2 offers reserved instances and spot instances. Pricing for EMR and EC2 on demand. And then you got to save money with reserved and spot instances. Let me see if I can get that from here. Change core nodes to spot instances and lower the spot price. You can't, okay. The idea is like, does that mean lower the spot bid price? Or can you have the effect of lowering a spot price? That way your bid price is now higher for whatever reason. There we go. I think it's 2 or 3. I'm going to pick 2 and 3 because I'm very comfortable with saying change the task nodes to on-demand instances, pay more, have them on, or increase the bid price. That's what.
But does that just changing it to on-demand?
If I get Mike Lawrence blessing, I'm gonna keep 2 and 4. Fucking.
But by changing the task node to on-demand, that doesn't stop the.
Come on, Google Home. I need to turn the Gaza Strip on. There we go.
From unexpectedly terminating their tasks, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
All right, Mike Lauren ain't saying shit, so we're going next. We got 33 minutes and a fuckload more questions left. You're running a media-rich website with a global audience from US East 1 for a customer in the publishing industry. Nice. CDN time. The website updates every 20 minutes. Web tier of the site sits on 3 EC2 instances inside of an auto-scaling group. Web tier sits on 3 EC2 instances. And auto-scaling. The auto-scaling group is configured to scale when the CPU utilization of the instances is greater than 70%. The auto-scaling group sits behind Elastic Load Balancer, and your static content lives in S3 and is distributed globally by CloudFront. Wow, what a fucking great solution. Your RDS database is, I don't even know. CloudWatch metrics show that your RDS instances usually have around 2 gigabytes of memory free and an average CPU utilization of 75. Currently, it is taking your users in Japan and Australia 3 to 4 seconds to load your website, and you have been asked to help reduce load times. How might you improve your page load times? Woof. Set up clone of your production environment in Asia Pacific region and configure latency based on route. That sounds cool. Use Elasticcache to cache most DB queries. What is it behind? Your RDS database is a DB-R3AX large instance. CloudWatch metrics show the database usually around 2 gigabytes of memory free. That means it's doing a lot. Because 2 gigabytes of memory on a database free is not a lot. And it has, okay, well, let's set up a fucking cache. Set up CloudFront with dynamic content support, enable caching of reusable content from the media. That sounds good too. Upgrade the RDS, it's a higher memory instance. I like all these, but I can only pick 3.
CloudFront's definitely right.
I mean, I would like to say, oh yeah, fucking give yourself like better network settings or cache your shit, but like cloning the entire production environment in Asia. Would be very expensive. Use Elasticcache to cache the most I don't even know if Elasticcache works. RDB, RDS. Yeah, I guess you can. Set up CloudFront with dynamic content support to enable caching. This might be very expensive though. I think it's these. He says it's 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, 5. Yeah. DynamoDB has its own caching thing too. It's called like DynamoDB Accelerator or something stupid like that. DAX, DBX, I think. I don't fucking know. You have created a direct connect link from your direct connect. I don't know nothing about that. From your on-premise data center to your Amazon VPC. Oh, I know everything about direct connect. The link is now active and routes are being advertised from on-prem data center. You can connect to EC2 instances from your data center. However, you cannot connect to your on-premise service from EC2 instances. Which of the following solutions might remedy? I think it has something to do with this. See these in mind. Edit the VPC subnet route table. Add a route back to the on. Probably. Configure a new route from net to the on-premise. I don't know. I need to read more about. I need a crash course on nets. Select 2. VPC subnet route table, adding a route back to the on-premise data center. Maybe. I don't know what this IPsec VPN is. I think it's either this 3, 4, 3, and then 4 or 5. No NAT for on-prem via direct connect. Network address translation. That's what NAT means. And I don't know how it's being used. I've done direct connect, so this is easy for me. I mean, we have direct connect, but we have it set up via AT&T NetBound. It's like some crazy ass shit. We're paying like, again, like 30K a month. And the only reason I picked the VP virtual private gateway is because I see it being used in our configuration for our direct connect. Like, I have no idea. You must do configure a new route from the NAT to the no NAT for on-prem via DC. Oh, this is 4. Edit the VP sub add in route back. All right. If you're saying there's no NAT with direct connect, that's okay. You're building out a single region application in US West 2. However, disaster recovery is a strong consideration. Wow, maybe I want to do something else. And you need to build applications so that if US West 2 becomes unavailable, you can fail over to US West 1. Your application relies exclusively on pre-built AMIs. In order to share those AMIs with your region you're using as a backup, which process would you follow? Are AMIs region specific? Create a new instance in one, making certain the instance is a follow-up region shares the security group with the instance in the default region. Nothing AMIs are specific to an account. They cannot and can be used anywhere. Copy the AMI from US West 2, manually apply launch permissions, user-defined tags. Copy AMI from 2 to 1 and launch as is. I didn't know that. I thought AMI is just like a fucking like an image, like a container image, like an ISO or something.
You can copy an AMI from one.
Guys says AMIs are region specific, yeah, but the images are all region based. Even if it's region based, wouldn't that mean that if you boot up an instance with a specific AMI that's meant for region 1 and you put on region 2 or vice versa, it would fuck it up? Maybe it has like some data or configuration stored on the image that shouldn't be shared across regions. The AMI ID is per region, so you want it in another region, you need a new ID.
Just create it on your instance and then copy it to an instance of the other region.
Now that I remember like some tutorials online that are like, if you want to do this, and they're like, hey, if you're on this region, this is our AMI. And I forgot what tutorials they are. They're on some freaking AWS docs. And I'm pretty sure that's what they were saying. Like, if you're on US East 1, these are the AMIs you want to use. Think. Amazon EC2 AMI locator. Ew, I hate Xennial. What? In order to launch an instance on the EC2 cloud, you need to locate its ID. This page helps you quickly locate an AMI ID. I'm still struggling to understand why you even need to have the same AMI in order to share those AMIs with your region. Okay, so they don't care. Like, there's no purpose of having two the identical images for your box, right? Like, why does it matter? Like, in the first place, you're building a single region application in US 2, West 2. They want you to have it in 1 for failover. The application relies exclusively on it relies on pre-built AMIs. Does that mean first column is oh god, I'm an idiot. Alright. See what you're talking about. The pre-built AMIs, when they're saying pre-built AMIs, they're saying like you can make your own custom AMIs. They're not talking about making your own, building your own AMI out of scratch. They're talking about the ones provided by AWS. Is that what they're doing? Huh. Custom AMI. Is that what they mean? So like, let's say, oh, I have this extra tool, not the provided AMIs, but you gotta build your own. Oh my god, resume my test. You need to know the AMI ID, I guess. If they are pre-built in the other region, sure, but they aren't clear it exists in the other region. I'm just gonna say you just gotta copy them, and good luck. But I was struggling to understand the reasoning behind the question, like why would you want to do this? But unless they mean like, oh, I made my own custom. God, pre-built doesn't mean custom. Pre-built means like, I don't understand what they're trying to say in this question. It's too vague. What does it mean by pre-built AMIs? Like the ones that AWS provides, that's what I'm thinking. If it's the ones that...
I mean, you can just copy the AMI of your instance to another region and just run it there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. Okay, we already know this. The question is, why the fuck would they want to do this in the first place? Like, why can't you just use just another like similar image that contains stuff that you like a Ubuntu distro on it already? Like, why do you need to? Unless you made your own custom
because
AMI.
it's asking you in order to share those AMIs with the region you're using as backup. So you want to share those. Like that's what the question asks. Like how would you do it? And the answer is you just copy it from one region to the other.
Copy the AMI from 2. Manually apply launch perm. User defined tags, Amazon S3 bucket perms, and the default AMI to the new instance and launch instance. I don't know. I'm just gonna pick this and go. My brain's exploding at this point. Let me keep drinking.
Yeah. Come on, man. 5 more questions.
20 more minutes. I'm not gonna get them. At the monthly product meeting, one of the product owners proposes an idea to address an immediate shortcoming of the product system. Storing a copy of the customer price schedule in a customer record in the database. You get a price schedule and a customer record in the database. You know that you can store large text or binary objects in DynamoDB. You give a tentative OK to do minimal viable product test, MVP, but stipulate that you must comply with the size limitation. I think I know this. Oh, fuck. 400 KB. I don't know if it's the volume.
Is it 5?
I think it's 4. I think it's 4. But I'm struggling right now because it might be the name must not exceed 64 kilobytes in value. But it's probably combined. Who knows? I think it's 4. Just from like previous reading and experience and doing these before. Alright, next. Fuck it. You work for a large software company in Seattle. They have a production environment provision on AWS inside of a custom VPC. What? That's cool. I don't care. The VPC contains both public and private subnet, as they should. Company tests their applications on custom EC2 instances inside the private one. There are approximately 500 instances, and they communicate to the outside world via proxy server. What? Okay. What? How? How do they talk when they're on the private subnet? At 3 a.m. every night, the EC2 instances pull down OS updates, which are usually 150 megs or so. Then they apply these updates and reboot. If the software is not downloaded within half an hour, then the update will attempt to download the following day. You notice that a number of EC2 instances are continually failing to download the updates in a lot of time. Which of the following answers might explain this? The proxy is on an inadequately sized EC2 instance that doesn't have enough sufficient network throughput to handle all the updates. You should increase the instance size. Sure, the server only has one elastic IP address added to it to increase network throughput. You should add maybe the proxy server has a network buffer is stored on the EBS volume. What? I didn't know this. What? What? The proxy server has an inadequately sized EBS volume attached to it. The network buffer is stored on the EBS volume. It is running out of disk space when trying to buffer the 500 simultaneous connections. You should provision EBS volume with provision IOPS. I didn't know anything about this. I don't even think this is true. Proxy servers are the private subnet using NAT instance to connect to the internet. However, this instance is too small to handle the required network. You should re-provision the NAT solution. Probably that. Your proxy server is blacklisting the address. That sounds not good. I only get to pick two. The proxy server is inadequately sized EC2 instance. Does not have sufficient network throughput to handle all updates. You should increase the instance size.
2 and 4?
And type of EC2. From this guy told me that if you increase your EC2 instances, you also get more throughput. Which is, I didn't know that. The proxy server has only one elastic IP address to it. I could see how, like, maybe increasing. Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna try these two like a nerd. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 4. He says 1 and 4. It's 1 and 4. Only because this one sounded a little whack. I read about this NAT instance solution before, but you have to recreate the NAT completely. You can't even like just change it. You can't update it. You have to recreate the NAT. I remember that. I don't know where I read that before. I need to fucking do more studying. The proxy server is on next. You work for a games development company who are re-architecting their production environment. They have decided to make all web servers stateless. Wow. Which of the following AWS services will help them out? I want to be stateless, my dude. I don't even know what that means anymore. I feel like it's a buzzword now. Oh yeah, definitely EMR is gonna make you stateless. Oh yeah, my dude. Select 3. Boom. Did I win? There we go. ELB, Elasticache, and RDS, because Elasticache probably doesn't exist for DynamoDB. 2, 4, and 5. Not ELB. Why not ELB?
Do DynamoDB.
You're saying ELBs need EC2 instances? No. Load balancers don't need EC2 instances, I thought. Wait. They I don't know what the underlying, stack or architecture is of ELB, but when I think of it, like, you don't have to target an EC2 instance at all. I don't know why stuff like lambdas aren't on here. 1, 4, and 5? I don't think Elasticache works with DynamoDB. Yeah, alright, explain. Good sir. ELB has no state. You can do like routes and shit in there. Conditional rules. It can route to ephemeral EC2 instances, so that's stateless. Okay, just next. Why RDS? I mean, why DynamoDB over RDS? Why is RDS state? Like, I don't know. What the hell do they mean? Maybe you can go. Fuck, I hate how they word this. It's stateless web servers. Web servers were, yeah. Dude, I think both of these are right answers. Alright, fuck that. Show me what you mean by stateless. I think it could be. I think it's RDS, ELB, and Elasticache because I don't think Elasticache works for DynamoDB. I do not think it's something for DynamoDB, and I'll prove you what. I'll show you what I mean. Cache. DynamoDB has its own cache. I was talking about the DynamoDB accelerator. It's basically Elasticache for DynamoDB. So I don't see that on here. So I think it's RDS, ELB, and Elasticache. I'm moving on. 61 out of 63. You work for a large media organization who has traditionally stored all their media on large SAN arrays. After evaluating AWS, they have decided to move their storage to the cloud. Staff will store their personal data on S3 and will have to use their Active Directory credentials in order to authenticate. These items will be stored on a single S3 bucket, and each staff member will have their own folder in the bucket. Folder named after the employee ID. Which of the following steps should take in order to help set this up? Create a role. That sounds good. Tag each folder with a stab. You don't need to tag it. Create either a federation, proxy, or identity provider. That sounds good. Use AWS security token service to create temporary tokens. Maybe create an IAM user for each member or of staff and use their existing Active Directory password for the account. That would be nice, but no. I think these three are good. You don't need a tag. You just make a role to access the prefix that is their folder. You need something. You need something to check against their login. I don't know if you need temporary tokens. It might be this. It might not be 4. It might be create a IAM user for each member of staff and use their No, that sounds stupid. That completely goes against 3. Yeah, so it's 1, 3, and 4. When making use of EC2 instances on a dedicated hosting, which of the following modes? I gotta reread. When making use of EC2 instances on dedicated hosting, which of the following modes are you able to transition between by stopping the instance and starting again? I don't know what the fuck dedicated hosting means. Like, means like no one else shares your fucking EC2 instance? Like, I don't know. I don't know this. I don't know the answer to this. What is this, Mike? It means exactly that, but what the fuck does it mean host? I think it's gonna be default and dedicated. Wait. You can choose between 2. Are you able to transition between by stopping instance and starting again? Dedicated, default, and dedicated. Dedicated and default. All right.
It says you have the option to launch instance. But
you keep cutting out. Chill. You keep cutting out.
Okay.
I'm thinking I'm just gonna select these two because these sound funny to me. Dedicated and default and dedicated. That's what I'm gonna do. How does AWS deliver high durability DynamoDB? AWS maintains a schedule of incremental backups and log shipping. Well, it could. It does have incremental backups. You just gotta enable them. Supports snapshots to S3. I don't know about that. And DynamoDB is automatically replicated across multiple AZs. I would think this, but how does that make it durable? AWS maintain a schedule of incremental backups. I don't know what log shipping is. And you have to enable this, and it's all metadata. Last question. What a tricky one. How does AWS deliver high durability for DynamoDB?
Durability, like if it replicates the data across three facilities, and that makes
well, I don't know if it by default does it. I think it would because I didn't have to enable anything specifically when I use my DynamoDB. Like it just
makes sense.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
AWS maintain a schedule. Okay, I mean this is not by default on something like this. I don't know about log shipping. I'm just doing this. I don't know what log shipping is anyway.
DynamoDB automatically.
No, Mike Lawrence says no log shipping in DynamoDB. That's an RDS thing. And the snapshot to S3, I don't know about that. I just know a little interesting tidbit about DynamoDB is that it always has backups enabled by AWS, but they're not visible unless you click a checkbox or enable them. So by enable them, it takes no time to do a backup or something like that because it's just a metadata flag that gets flipped saying like enabled, and they can see that data now. So
and by enabling that, it gives you high durability.
You may still review answers. No, let's just fucking finish the test. I failed. Oof. Let's review these questions.
75% required to pass.
Oh, I had to select 4? I got wrong because I didn't select the... That's cute. Continue. Oh, these are all the questions. Oh, and it tells you why. I like that. I like that it tells you. Incorrect. Completely got this wrong about the KMS. You can import your own keys, disable and re-enable keys, and define key management roles, like KMS roles. I know about that. What did I get wrong here? Custom key stores. It doesn't support custom key stores. Lastly, operating private and native HSM is a function of cloud HSM is not possible directly in HSM. Importing keys into a custom key store and migrating keys from a default key store to custom, they're not possible. That's good to know. Now I know for the rest of my life, KMS does not support custom key stores. Okay, don't care. I want to use intermittent access for what? My meme creation website? Why? The question describes a situation where a low-cost zone would be perfect. However, it says there is a high license cost with each meme generation. The storage savings between IA and Zone I are about this is small compared to the $10 licensing. Therefore, you will be better to pay for full S3IA. What? I probably wouldn't get this next time either. Incorrect. He was right. Look, he was right. Hey, look at this. Oh yeah.
It's the class size in that.
My boy, Mike Lawrence.
He told you to pick that.
Yeah, I know he did, but I was stubborn, man. I would have never got it anyway. You have developed a new web app. What is this? The solution with the no instances and 2C?
This is the one you YOLO'd.
No, this is the one I picked because this one, no, all these had no instances in one of the zones. And I was like, well, what happens if 2 go down? You need to work through each case to find which will provide you with the required number of running instances, even if one AZ is lost. Hint, always assume that the AZ you lose is the one with the most instances. Remember that the client has stipulated that they must have 100% fault tolerance. Okay, well, I'm still confused. You got 3 on A, 3 on B, 3 on C. And then 2 is 4 on A, 2 on B, 2 on C. I don't know how that's wrong.
And it's incorrect.
What was the question then? Which of the following offers 2 correct solutions for this scenario? 6 on A, 6 on B, wow, and none on C. So if one goes down, you still have 6? Like, what is the question? The development web app requires 6 Amazon. Oh, so the whole web app needs 6 instances. That makes sense. If one goes down here, you might have, either A or B to take over. And this one says 3 on A, 3 on, and 3 on. Okay. But
So if one goes down, you still have 6.
I still it's a math problem then. It just says if one goes down, do you still have 6 in total? That's all it's saying. So this one, all right. So if this one goes down, I only have this one. I still have 3, and then 3 here, so that's 6. But then this one, I will lose 4 here, and I'll only have 2 here and 2 here, so that's 4. So that means that I understand this question now. I'll probably get it right the next time I go over it. Wrong. Okay. You've completed the building, blah, blah, blah. Which 3 services we use to stateless web tier? Well, the answer is something I would have never known.
What I say, man? What I say? I said 4 on this one.
All right. What? So you get disk reads, network, and CPU usage by default with CloudWatch, but and CPU. You don't get memory usage with CloudWatch metrics. You have to write it yourself. What? Remember, under the shared security model, the AWS can see the instance, but not inside the instance to what it is doing. AWS can see that you have memory, but how much of the memory is being used cannot be seen by AWS because of the shared security model. In the case of CPU, AWS can see how much you're using, but cannot see what you're using. If why'd I pay these guys $10? These practice.
What are you using it for, man?
If for. I gotta use the if else for. All right. Which of the following features only relate to spread placement groups? The placement group can only have 7 running instances per availability zone. The name of your place must be unique. What? Which of the following features only relate to spread placement groups? I looked this up.
I need the explanation.
Spread placement groups have a specific limitation on blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. The last 2 remaining options are common to all placement group types and so are not specific to spread placement groups. Okay. So I'm wrong. I just looked up placement groups and I wasn't looking up spread placement groups. I know I have this open somewhere. No, I don't. Okay. Spread placement groups have a specific limitation. You can only have a maximum of 7 instances per availability zone. Therefore, this is the only correct option. Deploying instances in a single availability zone is unique to cluster placement groups. A single availability zone is cluster placement groups only, and therefore is not correct. The last 2 are common across all of them. Wow. Which of the following S3 storages offer 11 nines? Standard IA, and one zone IA. So IA and standard, not glacier, not reduced redundancy. Always, if you want more 9s, you gotta go with IA. Okay, whatever. Currently, the S3 classes are standard, IA, one zone, blah 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 blah. RRS is the only S3 class that does not offer 11 9s. That's good to know. So I'm gonna remember RRS is the no bueno. RRS is not 11. Okay. Ouch.
Alison, Aurora was incorrect. You were right.
I just chose Amazon Aurora because I was like, that's not even an engine. I moved on, and then later on, Mike Laurent told me Aurora isn't a database engine, and it was. We looked it up. All these are actually database engines for RDS. And this is some shit I would never have known. So they have a limited amount of database
Wait,
they could run per
how
instance.
many did you select? You select only one?
Yeah.
Is that why you got?
I wasn't paying. No. I didn't select both of them. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry
Oh yeah,
about it,
because
man.
you're both correct. You're both correct.
You
I
have
see it.
3 AWS accounts, ABC, which share data. What did I pick? The instances for accounts here are overloaded. Host stop all accounts instances, start them together so that they run on a new host. What? I picked this? What the fuck did I read? I said A and B is good, but B and C and A is bad. So I was like, oh, C has to be the bad one. So I just clicked this real quick. But then after you keep reading it, later on, it sounds ridiculous. So what's the answer? The names of the AZs randomly applied is not necessarily the same physical location for all 3 accounts. Okay, well, this doesn't even solve anything. Available names are unique per account. They do not represent a specific set of physical resources. So my AZ is different than your AZ. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they randomly applied. So.
But this doesn't mean anything. Like this doesn't tell this.
Well, so it's not necessarily the same physical location.
So this is not saying like what you should do to fix it or something. This is just saying what's the problem.
Yeah, what the problem is. It's because it's not necessarily the same physical location.
Told you about the netbox. You can't get memory because you can't see inside the instance. Shame I didn't see that question. We deal with this a lot. Otherwise, A gets overloaded. Hey, I still don't know how this is even like a thing. How this is an answer. How this is even a question or an answer. Like, what could be the problem? This sounds stupid. This sounds stupid. This sounds stupid. All instances for account are overloaded host. All the instances for C are on overload. Stop all the account C instances and start them together so that they run on new host. I mean, I would have picked this next time too, but now, I mean, that's just a little bit of knowledge. Ooh, what did I do here? What did I learn? Select 5 and I selected default instead of
geo proximity routing policy.
Yeah, well now I know that default routing policy is in the policy type.
Mike Laurent told you to pick the 2 geos.
No, Mike Laurent, he don't know nothing, man. He don't know nothing. Nah, he don't know nothing. He don't know nothing. He trying to teach me. He don't know nothing. You have been monitoring a sensitive auto-scaling group and you expect the scaling and blah, 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 blah.
The oldest terminates first. Read why.
That's exactly what he told me. He told me it's the oldest launch config. I was like, wow, nah, man, I'm fucking up and I'm going to fuck up, so let me fuck up. Autoscaling scales in according to hierarchy of decisions. Please see the link for. I gotta click a fucking link and read this. I'm not reading this. I need a TLDR.
Just remember it's the oldest.
It's the oldest launch configuration is the one to shut down first. Okay. Yeah. Whatever. What is the maximum visibility timeout? It's 12 hours. I'm in here fucking.
FIFO queue. 14 days.
You know what, man? Shut up. The visibility timeout controls how long a message is invisible in the queue while it is being worked on by a processing instance. This interval should not be confused with how long the message can remain in the queue.
So it can remain in the queue 14 days.
Visibility timeout. It's
only visible. Yeah.
So this says if I put it to like 10 seconds, you will not be able to see it until the 10 seconds passes. That's what it's saying. No,
but the 14 days is it does remain. Because that's like a trick, right? That's
it's a trick. No, it's not a trick. It's not a trick. It's that you're confusing what visibility timeout is to like whatever the other setting is.
So you're supposed to know what visibility timeout means, testing your knowledge.
What's this? This was fucking completely wrong. Gateway stored volumes. Whoa. Your company likes the idea of storing files. However, low latency service of majority of files is important. Which storage gateway configs would you use to achieve low latency shit? File gateways and storage gateway. I don't know nothing about this. Gateway stored volume, store your primary data locally, while asynchronously backing up the data to AWS. Depending on the cache allocated, you can achieve the same with file. Whatever, dude. I hope never to see this question.
You will.
Incorrect. You got it wrong.
Next one too, man.
He told me too. He didn't tell me size constraint. He said URL match. But I was like, termination sounds right. Size constraint doesn't sound right. Like, but you know what? I have. There is a size constraint hack or exploit that came out a few days ago where some server, it's a Axios thing. There's a library out there, some sort of a library. It's an Axios library, which is a JavaScript library for doing HTTP requests. It does not honor size constraint shit. So like if you say max content length or max size or something like that, your connection in the Axios client ignores max file or max content lengths or max content sizes or whatever. And so that can DDoS your server. Some shit like that. I forgot. I just know there's an exploit like that. Wow. Hey, we learned something. Security groups are stateful. Oh shit, dude. Security groups are stateful and updates are applied immediately. Security groups are stateful. I want to see this.
That's just a fact right there, man.
Act as a virtual firewall for your instance to control inbound and outbound traffic. Okay, yeah. Why? How are they stateful? If you send a request from your instance, the response traffic for that request is allowed to flow in regardless of the inbound security group rules. Responses to allowed inbound traffic are allowed to flow out regardless. How does that make it stateful? Are tracked differently. That's kind of vague. I'm not understanding. Yeah, I'm not understanding. Stack Overflow 3 months ago, asked 8 months ago, active 3 months ago. What is meant by security groups are stateful? AWS documentation says security groups are stateful. If you send a request from your instance, response traffic for the request is allowed to flow in regardless of inbound security group rules. I don't understand how this behavior is regarded as stateful. How would a stateless situation proceed? I suppose the response traffic would depend on some type of rule. The rules don't have state, I thought, unless you're talking about like incrementing a counter or something. I went to a movie with my son. During the film, he needed to go to the restroom. The staff member at the door let him leave the theater and allowed him to re-enter afterwards. This is an example of a stateful request. He went out and was allowed back in. Yes, I understand now. Not really. But I thought that was just a thing about TCP connection. Once you open a session or you open an HTTP like session, you send a request, that session is still open, or the socket or whatever it is, the connection is still open, and it lets you talk back out. Not that it just reestablishes a new connection. However, someone who simply tried to get into Ethereum would be rejected. Similarly, your computer at home is connected to the router. The router protects it from the evil of the internet. The traffic can't come through your router to your computer. However, if you make a request to go to a website, that request goes out of the router. Response is allowed back in because it is stateful. That is, the router remembers that you made the request. Okay. What we got? What's wrong here? I had to select two. I selected one. All right. Network access control lists are stateless. I'm going to remember that. Mike Lorna, I'm going to remember NACL. Network NACL. Stateless. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to remember that. NAC. Stateless. Security group, stateful. Security group starts with an S, therefore stateful. Damn it. Because stateless also starts with an S. Security group.
How about NACO? NACO less can be NACO. Ooh.
Security group. Security group stateful. Knackle. I never made my own knackles. I've only done security groups before, so I don't know how knackles work. But I must say security group, the S means stateful. Means yes. There's state. Knackle, no state. N for no state. That's how it was. N for no state. B for Bosnia. You're leading a design. L for less. You are leading a design team, blah, 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 blah. What advice would you provide for the DynamoDB design? What the fuck did I do? Select 2? I select fucking 3?
You selected 3.
And the wrong ones, the B2?
2 of them are wrong, yeah.
Create a new table each day? That sounded bad. Insert a calculated hash? That didn't sound right either.
What I said, I think this one I said 5.
No, it's, yeah, Mike Lawrence said create one a new day every day, but I'm a little confused now because a calculated hash in front of the date time value in front of the date time value, you're not making the whole thing a hash, because I thought that making the whole thing a hash would fuck everything up, like make it evenly distributed, which is kind of not what you want. You want to be able to say like, oh, I want everything from this date and time, but what the fuck? A calculated hash in front?
You're posting DynamoDB to use partitions in parallel.
To use partitions in parallel.
Yeah.
I need to read the description. There are 2 issues here. How to handle stale data to avoid paying for high provision throughput for infrequently used data. All right, whatever. And how to design a partition key that will distribute I/O from sequential data across partitions. Sequence data across different partitions evenly to avoid performance bottlenecks. You can force it to use different partitions. But then you're not going to know your exact key. You're going to have to like do like, you can't use like a get item or whatever. You're gonna have to use something like scan on the, which is not good. Scan contains date time. Security of partition is for speed. If everything lands on the same partition, it would be slow. A date makes it land on the same partition. It would, yeah. But that's why they have date time. The time would be different. It would be on different based on like every minute or every millisecond or some shit like that. If it was just the epoch date. Where the first 16 bytes are used for the partition. It's like S3 partitioning, where the first 16 bytes are used for partition. It's not about the key. I can understand how if you want, it depends what the time is. Like if you're just saying the time is down to minutes, then a date time on a key is still pretty good when you're trying to. 50,000 though. 50,000 is a lot. Anonymous data collectors. $50,000 within a minute. What do you need to do here? Efficient use of the tables. This would fuck it up because you can't just get something. You would put like a hash at the end, not on the front. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. Host is a header. AMZ meta. Oh my god, I didn't see that. It has like a dash there, so that would invalidate it, like from my options. But host, I would never have thought. Didn't sound right. But this looks like I should have paid attention and saw that there's something up with this header. Oh look, this was wrong. The public IP address is not managed on the instance. It is instead an alias applied as a network address translation of the private IP address. Huh. What the fuck am I getting? So it's only possible to get local? You want to see the AMI one? I don't want to go to AMI one yet. We're almost there. The thing I want to figure out is like, I know about this data store, this metadata. In EKS, at least, in order to get the current worker node IP, or aka the current instance, EC2 instance IP, the metadata store. If they're talking about public IP, I have no fucking clue. They're probably right. You probably have to use NAT to go figure out what the fuck the IP is. I have to remember this before later. Maybe there's no such thing as public IPv4 on EC2 instances. Because we have EKS. It's just an EIP mapping, elastic IP mapping. Either way, I should have known this. Because on our EKS, we had to set up something where in our containers, specifically in our pods, we needed our containers to have different roles. They couldn't be all, the same IAM role, whatever's on the node or the instance, the EC2 instance. So we had to download something called, or use this thing called Cube to IAM, which used like this thing called the daemon set that gets applied to all the different nodes, aka all the different containers, or the nodes that the containers are running on, the instances that the containers are running on, in order to switch to the role when the container is being created. And in order to do that, they needed access to this local IPv4 to figure out what that container's IP address is, and some other data too. This metadata, the whole metadata thing, to figure out what the current role is and what you can do with it. Yeah, I don't. KIM. We looked at it, but I don't know why we chose Cube to IM. Either way, I got pissed off at our company's setup for their EKS and how we have to go through a ton of process to update things. And so I started pushing for trying to explore serverless. And so we're trying to do stuff. Well, right now we're trying to do stuff with Lambda and DynamoDB, rather than be victims or be at the mercy of other teams and their provisioning of the resources for EKS. We don't got time for that shit. A client is concerned that someone other than approved administrator is trying to gain access to Linux web app. Jess, what sort of logging can you do? Fuck me. Fuck me. Fuck me, man. Hey, you were wrong, Mike. Set up a flow log and forward them to CloudWatch. Flow logs can go to CloudWatch. They can't go to S3 apparently. Make use of OS level logging tools. I didn't know IP tables was a fucking logging tool. I thought it was just something you can block like a firewall. That's cool, I guess. Whatever. Security auditing any of us needs to be considered during this. Whoa. You were a consultant planning to deploy DynamoDB across 3 AZs. Your lead DBA is concerned about data consistency. Which of the following do you advise lead DBA to do? To quit. Strongly. Ask them and then tell them of the increased costs. The double crossed. Determine consistency as a specific meeting. Okay, that's a cool story, my dude. Configure a subnet and each application sits so there's not an IP. What the fuck? What? I can't even read. I know I got it right, but I can't even read, and I don't know how I got it. Which of the following answers will allow the application to communicate back to on-prem? Configure VPC subnet in which application sits so that it does not have an IP address range that conflicts. Makes sense. You should ensure VPC has an internet gateway. Makes sense if you don't have money for big dick DC. And if you have money for big dick DC, then you pay for it. Okay, makes sense. I'm glad we got the bidding one. That's really cool. This one I had to select 3 and I chose the wrong one. Off by 1. Upgrade the RDS instance to higher memory instance. Set up a clone of your whole production environment. What? Your RDS instance is already the largest currently offered by AWS, so you cannot upgrade further. Apparently, you have to know that little esoteric knowledge that a DBR3 8x large is the largest. Yeah. Yeah. You have to know that this is the largest. Yeah, I'm going to go back. I'm going to study the fucking instance table. They might roll out with a new one, man. They might roll out with a new one. An XX large, you know? Yeah, I don't fucking know. That's hilarious. Oh, they got me, motherfuckers. Thank you for telling me. I'm gonna remember that you need to edit the route table, add the route back to on-premise. I'm gonna remember that. Incorrect. Ooh, you gotta copy AMI from US West 2, manually do this, the tags, the bucket permissions of the
So you gotta
default
do all that.
AWS.
It's not just a copy.
I have to learn about AMIs. That's all. Like I gotta keep learning. AWS does not copy launch permissions, user defined tags, and blah 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 all that gay shit. Okay.
Because you're still copying it, but you have to go through like the actual steps of it.
Yeah, it was poorly written. Whatever.
Yeah.
Look at that. ELB.
And what I said about DynamoDB, man.
Why is ELB not right? An ELB can help you deliver stateful services, but not stateless.
Didn't Michael Ryan explain it to you?
Alas, EMR is a data crunching. Well, I think of ELB now being some kind of routing mechanism. And when I think of routing or connections, I think of that whole thing, the example that they had where like you open a HTTP request, it's going to come back. And they're calling that stateful because it's been open. It allows to go back out. I don't know. Fucking, I don't know. This blows my mind.
Well, the thing I linked you, it said that like Elastic Load Balancer.
No. Mike says here, ELB has a state because it's EC2. It's EET. The fact that it's elastic means that it needs to be run on something that scales, which probably means it's running on EC2 instances, which is the backbone of AWS, basically. Like almost all their solutions are somehow EC2 or ECS, which is Elastic Container Service, that just like, and I think ECS itself is EC2 instances somehow managed. Anyway, what? It's host dedicated and host, not default. Ooh. The tenancy of an instance can only be changed between variants of dedicated tenancy hosting. It cannot be changed from or to default tenancy hosting. I don't fucking know what that means. I'm sad I don't know what that meant. I got this right. Wow. Basic good DVR. We ain't not retaking this test.
Oh, 63. Yeah, there's a delay.
That was practice exam 1. Now we get to take practice 2. I'm just kidding. That took like 2 hours, man.
Good luck, man. I'm gonna go.
I'm not fucking doing it. I'm
You're gonna do it
sad.
tomorrow, probably.
Well, I've heard that in order to pass this test, you need a 65%.
It said 75 on the practice exam.
I don't believe 75. I don't want to do the cert. I'm thinking, I mean, I didn't want to do certs. I don't know how old you are, but I always thought like certs are for people that are trying to get into the industry and don't have like just the experience or something. Like that's how they prove it to themselves or to prove it to their employers. But yeah, you can do certs. Mike Loring, get this guy in here a job. Any experience will be good.
Yeah.
What's
Are you
it called?
doing the?
What?
Are you doing the cert actually, Mario? Like, are you actually you pay for the test, right?
No, this is fucking practice exams I got from fucking.
No, but like the actual thing.
Yeah, you have to.
So, how much was it again?
It's a lot. I think it's $300. But they used to have requirements. They used to be
How
like.
many times can you take it?
I don't know.
It's not like that lawyer thing. You know, it takes so many times.
Dude, I don't know anything about a Dev Warrior Hero program. All I know is you only live once. I only want the cert now as like bragging. Like I think like because I work with people that aren't really technical in like the higher levels and leadership, they don't, I don't know how to explain it. It's just another like way of saying, hey, take me more serious and pay me more money.
I'm certified.
Like I know I don't need the cert to do what I'm doing. But it's just bragging. It's poker. It's like chips, Anyway,
it's a goal, man. It's a goal you're setting for yourself. It's fine.
I could do it.
Like, if you're gonna spend the money, make sure you can pass the test. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it'll take a few of these. Like, I think it'll take at least 7 of these exams before I'm comfortable.
But he said better off with a Kubernetes than an AWS.
We don't even care about Kubernetes anymore. Like we do, but I don't want certs anymore. I don't care about certs. It's just the AWS certs are the ones that matter right now in our current state of at work. Dude, I was doing security stuff 2 weeks ago. I'm more interested in doing the security challenges, but I'm also hating on the certs that they provide in security, like Security Plus for the basics. There's another one called Offensive Security CP, OSCP. I think it's kind of ghetto too. It's kind of outdated. Like I think I have more interest in security, but I don't want to pigeonhole or put myself in that kind of position. I'd rather do development. I mean, 55%. I mean, with the help of an AWS expert, is not that good. But I think I took one mini exam before, like quizzes. Maybe I took 2 quizzes. I never took an actual full practice exam. That's just me guessing. All right. Yeah, I need to like. Does it not work? Heroes of the Storm. Yo, man.
What did you just say?
It doesn't matter. They don't recommend it. AWS, they're gonna fucking put some new shit every time on their exams. Oh boy. I just shouted at him out because I wanted to see what game he was playing. Like who he is. Because who the hell names themselves their like real name? Mike Laurent sounds like a real name.
Man, I'll give him a follow.
Yeah, give him a follow. I thank him for his times. Fucking brain. I'm just losing my mind and I don't know what to do. Like, I'm not busy with work. I drive my own whatever I need to do. So I got tired of playing the video games, so I ended up doing like security related stuff last couple of weeks, and then I think today I told myself, you know what, I got stuck on my security stuff. I was doing all these like challenges here. I still have the fucking web page open for the last 3 weeks, but I'm running out of like challenges, and the other website for the challenges is boring. And so I'm like, you know what, it's time to try studying for the AWS cert. Oh, I know a guy in Australia, by the way. My best.
Isn't he in South America?
No, he's still in
Oh.
Sydney. Are you from Perth?
Oh.
Perth side or Sydney side? Perth side or Sydney side? Yeah, he's from Sydney too. He's doing Django development. I don't know why the fuck he's doing Django development. Maybe he's doing something else now. Who knows? Luckily, Sydney and Australia in general are really good salaries for developers, because I mean, I looked all over Europe and the salaries there suck, even for London. Embarrassing. Well, that means you're in the actual company that does software or IT. Because I'm at a company where they don't even have the roles defined correctly, but it's like a Fortune 100, so it's ridiculous. And our highest like technical role is like a joke compared to real other technical roles in companies where it's like you're a fellow. My buddy worked at Squirrel Superannuation. I don't know how the fuck that you spell superannuation in the 401k crap across the pond. Huh? Wait, what are you doing?
You need a gargle.
Okay. Oh yeah. What a boss. He's in a case study. Oh shit, dude. Hey man, Dimitri. He's named right on this fucking case study.
He said he's a AWS expert, man.
Yeah.